Let's see what Sajit thinks in Birmingham. Morning to you, Sajit.
Hello, Matt. I think it would be better for us to remain in the EU. The first time round when we voted, I voted out. It was mainly an idealistic kind of view around national sovereignty. I wasn't happy the way that Greece was treated, so I became quite negative about the EU. But I hadn't envisaged what was to happen. The possibility of people losing jobs. I hadn't taken into account the Irish backstop, and I hadn't really looked into the complexities and how interlinked we are with the EU, and by trying to cut every different strand, how it's going to really impact on people. So I think, in hindsight, I regret that I voted out, and I would remain, not because I'm entirely happy with the EU as it is, but I just think we're in such a mess, and people are going to lose their jobs. People are going to be impacted on this. So that's where I stand. One suggestion that I would have is that, a second referendum, but rather than having this narrow possibility of in or out, I would rather have it as a 60% decisive vote for either in or out.
Sajit, thank you. And listen, you mentioned the Irish border. It's something that I picked up on a little earlier, and how since we voted to leave the European Union, we've become acutely aware of the problem of precisely that border and our need to honour the peace process and the Good Friday Agreement. Before the referendum, Theresa Villiers, who is the Northern Ireland Secretary, she rather belittled the issue of that border, and she said, I'm quoting here from the Irish News, which was put this article out in April of 2016. She said, I believe that the land border with Ireland can remain as free-flowing after a Brexit vote as it is today. There's no reason why we have to change the border arrangements in the event of a Brexit, because they have been broadly consistent in the 100 years since the creation of Ireland as a separate state. It's in the interest of both countries to keep an open border, and there's no reason for that to change if the people of this country to exercise their freedom to vote to leave the EU, she told Sky News. Well, wasn't she wrong about that? And
yes.
Go on.
And I think it's missing. Whether she believed it at the time that was the case or not, but it was misinformation, And I think, I tend to pride myself with being, kept informed about politics and things like that. And now I think it's blatantly obvious issues about Northern Ireland were going to be difficulty in terms of trade and things like that. But at the time, it's information such as what she would be giving that I would be taken in by, that, there won't be any major issue, and in terms of jobs for people and their lives, that people, it wouldn't have been so severe as I feel it's going to be now.
Sajit, really interesting. Thank you. Sajit, it seems to have buyer's remorse.